Welcome back. It's a beautiful day outside. The temperature is rising, and what better way to spend it than in front of the computer screen talking about anime. Yes, I know, aren't I popular? Welcome back, and today I have a couple of topics that I've looked into and just want to get a feel for people's opinions on it. Mainly an anime-based video, similar to last week's. Got a good response on that one actually. And just starting off right off the bat, Tokyo Revengers season 1 to 2. In my opinion, it's what I could accurately call a mid-level anime. In my opinion, if you were going to scale any anime, whether it would be from Attack on Titan to whatever bad example you want to bring up, this would be a mid-anime. There's some ups and some downs, there's some good, there's some bad, and I just want to talk about what I feel are the good points, what I feel are the bad points, and what they could do to improve it. But let's start with the positives. The positives are really the character relationships between each person in the anime. For example, the relationship between Mikey and Draken. You can really get a feel for how close they are, how bonded they are. Even when they went through that little argument, you could tell that they really cared about each other still, and just how they wanted to make sure that they were both safe when it came to the gang fights and all the uproar that they caused. Another example is Takemichi and his best friend. You really get the sense of Takemichi really loves his best friend and wants the best for him, but he may not do it through the right means, joining up a gang in the first place. And not just the relationship between those two, but just the relationship between the other gang members. Like when one gang member got, beaten up, his girlfriend got, assaulted, the family was assaulted. You can really tell that it was affecting the best friend. You can really tell that all the other gang members were pissed and they really wanted something to be done about the other gang that did the crime. And that, for me, that literally builds the gang up. Because if you spend time on the protagonist and the main people, it's easy to forget the other gang members involved, easy to forget that this Tollman gang isn't a small gang, it's actually quite big when you count all the members, the junior members, the lieutenants, the captains. And when you build upon those relationships, it really helps to build the world around the gang. So you're not really concentrating on anything except the interrelationships between them. Another benefit would be the small comedic sections. Like when Takemichi got poop on his head, yes, it's a poop joke, but it did break the sort of tension that was there. Mikey and Draken fighting. Again, it's not big, laugh out loud, but it's still like a good comedic moment from the jump. The fight scenes are, alluring. They make you keep your eye on the show. They make you want to see more, they make you interested in their characters and not get as much screen time, but they are sort of shown doing crazy stuff, like laughing while beating one person up, being this tall guy and being multiple people at the same time. So it really shows how strong the gang is while shining the spotlight on the individual members, the higher-ups of the Tollman gang. And personally for me, one up for the series, the Tollman fashion sense, not even just the Tollman fashion sense, but the fashion sense of all the characters in this anime. From the jackets to the suits to the tracksuits to like the typical Japanese biker gang, it really all looks good, it looks impressive, it looks nice. it just really sort of catches your eye because they look cool. And when someone looks cool and they grab your attention, you're going to be rooting for them. So I really like the fashion choice that the artists have selected for them. Now, unfortunately, because it's mid, there's going to be some down points. And I think the major one that's holding back this anime from just reaching that higher level, I could argue, is the protagonist himself. Because the protagonist himself is just, he's weak. It would be like if they based an anime around Krillin. You know, Krillin from Dragon Ball, or if you want Kiba from Naruto, or if you want, what's his name from My Hero? Mineta. If they based it around him, it doesn't make me want to root for him. It doesn't make me want to see him have a happy ending. Because, well, he's constantly shown as this weak character who's constantly getting beat up, who's constantly being punished, being brutalized, and it doesn't make me want to see him get better. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not rooting for Krillin in any Dragon Ball Z arc. I'm not rooting for Armin to go ham and kill everyone in Attack on Titan. That's not what I'm here for. If I want a protagonist, I want a protagonist who starts off weak, who, fine, he's not the best fighter, but at least he has something there. And when you continue to watch or to read it, you see him progress and get stronger and stronger. Maybe he's not reaching Mikey levels anytime soon, but at least you can say, oh look, he can handle himself enough for the situation. But it seems like in every fight, in every arc, in every scene, he's getting beaten up by someone. And that's just off-putting. It's just really off-putting. It would be like if there was an Avengers movie that was based on a civilian that gets his car wrecked, his house wrecked, wife leaves and children leave, and I'm supposed to be rooting for this guy. This guy sucks. And as a protagonist, you should be able to relate to the readers, relate to the audience, relate to, you know, the people just interested in the story. But if you're constantly getting beaten up, you're constantly made to look weak and below everyone else, I'm not going to relate to you. I'm not saying, oh, look at me, I'm a big strong guy who fights gangs all the time. I'm just saying, look, you know, yes, it's the underdog story. That's why everyone likes My Hero, because My Hero is about a guy who had no powers in the beginning. He gets them and he trains. And in the beginning, when he uses it, he hurts himself. But as the anime and the manga goes on, he learns to control it and gets better and better. But so far in Tokyo Revengers, it's just not there. It's not. And it makes it harder for me to latch on and be like, oh, I can't wait for the next episode. I can't wait to see what happens. Because I know what's going to happen. He's going to lose. And it's boring. It's really boring. Another, let's say, down of the anime is maybe the detailing in the animation of the fight scenes. They're not bad. Like, they're not 7 Deadly Sins on Netflix bad. But it's static. And I'm not really a fan of static scenes, if that makes sense. Where you're just seeing one punch, next thing, one punch, next thing. I'm more into, like, you know, detailed fight scenes, detailed, you know, impact of punches and blows. And don't get me wrong, you do have the moments where maybe Draken might punch someone and they go flying, or Mikey does his roundhouse kick and they get knocked out and they fall over. And that's perfectly fine. But I just feel like in the spaces where there's, you know, conversations and there's fighting, the fighting needs to be good. So it makes me more excited to see the fight scene. And speaking of the conversations, I feel like, I don't know, when you have a anime or manga, oftentimes these side characters, the B-list characters, will push up the anime and manga. For example, if we go back to Attack on Titan, yes, the focus is mainly on Eren, Mikasa, Armin, Zeke. You know, that could be argued those are like the main characters. And then just like a tier below them, you have like Levi, you have Sasha, Connie, Falcon? Okay, Falcon you can say, I'm trying to think, his name escapes me. I think John, I believe his name is. You have those characters, and when you focus on those characters and what their positives are, how they feel about the situation, it boosts it up. For example, when Jean was told about Eren's plan to, do the awakening and kill everyone, he initially wanted to just be like, yeah, fine, let's go. Not like, he wasn't enthusiastically behind the idea. He wasn't like, yeah, let's go, clapping and cheering and saying, yes, this is how it should be. But more along the lines of, well, I'm just tired of fighting. I just want to relax. And because they focus on that side character, it pushed the main character up. Because it showed what the main character's actions were doing to the side characters. Whereas when you look at Tokyo Revengers, it's more focused on Takemichi. And the way it's designed, it's authored, it's always, okay, in the future, this will happen. So Takemichi needs to go back and changes this. There's only while Takemichi's doing this, you might get, because he's too weak, you might get a side character that's like, okay, I'll help you out, and this is why I'm doing this, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, let's go help you now. And it doesn't do anything for me for the story. Because, again, back to Attack on Titan, when Connie's mom was turned to a Titan a season ago, and then he kidnapped one of the warriors to feed to the mom, it just raised the tension of the anime and the manga. Because yes, it was a side story, it was a side plot that was done by the main plot. But at the end of the day, because we spent so much time with that side character, because that side character had a spotlight shown on him, it was like, okay, let's see where this goes. And I feel that's a weakness of Tokyo Revengers. It focuses too much on the weak protagonist. It doesn't make me want to see what happens, because the side characters are treated as side characters. It's sort of equivalent to the later episodes and chapters of Naruto, where earlier on, all the side characters were shown as heavy hitters, essentially, like Rock Lee, Neji, even Hinata was shown to have some type of potential. But then later down the line, the anime, when you get to Shippuden, the characters sort of like, okay, it's all about Naruto and Sasuke. It was all about those two. And yes, you could argue that's a negative, but because fight scenes were good, the story was good, other side characters were given this spotlight, like the protagonist that, people that you cared about since the first anime, it didn't hamper it as much as Tokyo Revengers. All in all, Tokyo Revengers is an interesting anime, but I feel like, again, because there's no power, there's no like abilities like magic or nen or ki or whatever it is, and not all anime need this. Definitely I have this in a good anime. Attack on Titan is not powers as such, except for the shifters, but then you have the normal people who use the gears and the swords. And another one that has no abilities as such, you could argue that Baki, early JoJo. Then in this one, because there's lack of it, there's not much you can do in terms of fight scenes, in terms of the main protagonist getting stronger and stronger, because it's just rooted in gang life in Japan. So there's no room for improvement in terms of abilities, and there's no room for fantastical fight scenes. And maybe that could be a problem of my own, that I'm so used to these fight scenes in other anime that if I don't see it in another one, it's a problem. But I feel like if it did have this, maybe not as powerful as like One Piece or Naruto, maybe it's just like, again, Baki, not like crazy fight scenes, but in terms of like strength and martial arts, if we just had that, then it wouldn't be a problem for me, because I'd be like, okay, cool, I was just waiting for the next fight scene, but let me get engaged with the characters so the fight scenes make more sense. But yeah, that's why I feel like Tokyo Revengers is a mid-anime, because it does have some good qualities, like the relationships between characters, the small comedic sections, the feeling you get when you see two gangs opposing from each other. But it just lacks a strong lead in Takemichi. You could be arguing at the pacing as well, the constant back and forth between time travel and waiting between those fight scenes to get through this like boring, like, oh yeah, how I can't believe this happened and this happened too. And, oh, let's go on a date, and it's boring. It doesn't attract me. It doesn't make me excited for the next episode. It just makes me want to fast forward to get to the interesting. And I feel like in order for something like Tokyo Revengers to survive, it needs to up and up and up. Get better animation, maybe shorter talking scene, more fight scenes, just to give it a bit more oomph, you know? A bit more. That's all I need, really. I'm a simple guy. I have simple likes. I like fight scenes. And don't get me wrong, I like the emotional bits. But the emotional bits here it doesn't hit. It doesn't hit. I just want it to be over, whereas I should be going, oh wow, she really cares, or he really cares, or what are they gonna do when blah 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 happens, But hey, we can't always get what we want, and if it's the road Tokyo Revengers continues, then we may just have to stop watching it. That's the way it goes.